a very warm welcome back to the channel of Motorbike Nonsense and my review of the 2025 Triumph Speed Twin RS, which is somewhat inappropriately the motorbike equivalent of a Tiger. Not a Triumph Tiger, this is a Tiger because it blends grace, beauty and elegance, and being a bit orange, with the ability to absolutely annihilate young American backpackers if they get too close. It's got some anger issues, this bike, which makes it a bit good in my book. Let's find out what the rest of it is like. Review time. Now, I'll confess, I've always had a soft spot for the Speed Twin, ever since I rode one back in about 2021, the first version that got upside down forks, because it's a retro looking bike that you would quite happily stick your one-piece leathers on and go out for a blast on, because you could definitely get your knee down on it. It's got a proper sporty edge. Now, for 2025, there have been some changes. So the base bike, that's improved and got some more power and bits, but this new RS is really where it's at. This is £2,000 more than the standard bike. The standard bike is now £13,000, which is a lot more than it used to be. So this is 15 grand. But you get some extras on this RS, as you would hope, for the money. You get sport riding mode. Big whoop. You get Brembo styler calipers. You get twin Ohlins rear shocks on it. You also get, well, an up and down quickshifter and a few other bits and pieces as well to make it the sporty version. But some of the fundamentals are largely the same as before. So you've still got 1200cc parallel twin with a 270-degree crank that makes a great throbbing noise. Powers up to 105 horsepower. Torque is 114 newton meters. Still got a 14.5 litre tank. It's now got cornering ABS and traction control, which has also meant it's got Triumph's dashboard that I don't really like, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, I'm going to grab the camera, show you around this very orange 15 grand bike. Oh, you can save 300 quid if you get a black bum, but why would you want to do that? Did I say black one or black bum? I meant black one, Freudian. Okay, just look at it. I think it looks absolutely fab in this Baja orange. It does help that today is one of the last sunny days we're going to have for the next decade here in the UK. Got a single headlight there, the Triumph logo in the middle of it with a daytime running LED ring around it. Got some LED indicators on this one as well. It's on proper sporty tyres as well. They're Metzeler Racetech RRs, which kind of hints at this bike's potential. Sorry, a fly just flew into my mouth. You've got the iconic air-cooled looking engine here and that beautiful sinuous exhaust, which, you know, you actually see what's going on under there, which if you look underneath is actually doing some sneaky stuff there. They can't just sell a bike without catalytic converters, no matter how cool it would have looked. There are the Ohlins rear shock units there with nice little easy to use adjusters on the top. It's got a 160 section rear tyre on some lighter wheels for this year as well to help with the handling. It's got a proper separate tail light, no BMW idiocy here. I do like the fact that you get a part Alcantara seat as well for extra grippiness when you're accelerating, and accelerate you will on this because it's a punchy little badger. The exhaust's there as quiet as the grave, to be honest, but you do get some nice noises kind of from the engine when you're riding along. You also get a Thruxton style fuel cap now as well. Oh, it's just a middle bit, sorry, showing my idiocy there. Thruxton doesn't exist anymore because it was too uncomfortable for everyone, so this is the Thruxton but uprighted bar end mirrors, heated grips on this one, quite simple switchgear that you do get on a lot of their cheaper models. Likewise, the dashboard, it is the split screen dash that we've seen in everything from the £7,000 Trident, so whether you want that on your 15 grand Triumph, I don't know, but you have got a fuel gauge, range readouts and things like that, which is all lovely jubbly, and a gear indicator. No cruise control, but you've got a start switch there and all the rest of it. Brembo master cylinder there. So lots of sporty accoutrements. I'll quickly show you what I look like sitting on it because I'm quite tall and I might look a bit silly on it, but then we'll take it for a razz. Now here's the Speed Twin's genius, the riding position. It is got a nice relaxed upright riding position. As I said, the Thruxton, that was proper leant over and not very comfortable. So people that wanted retro bikes, who, let's be honest, tend to be a bit older than average, didn't really like the Thruxton, but this gives you the Thruxton's engine and chassis while being in a very relaxed riding position. Now I've got an 810mm seat height. It's 5mm higher than the non-RS because of the suspension, but you can lower it if you want. It's just very approachable. It weighs 216 kilos wet, but without a tank of fuel. So it does feel a bit heavy, between the legs when you rock it from side to side, and the weight isn't all that low down. Unlike the BMW R12 19, you might be thinking 15 grand. That's a lot more than that BMW. Well, it is. It's about 2 grand more than the base price, I think, of an R12 90. But BMW need to add lots of options. So if you get a decent R12 90, it'll be about 15 or 16,000 pounds. But yeah, that's all quite nice, relaxed position to take it for a ride, which we will do now. Actually, I've made an error. Before we go to ride it, I've got to tell you that there's a USB-C on the side of the very reflective clock, so you can plug a sat-nav or phone in nice and easily. And you can also get an accessory low handlebar kit for it if you want to, you know, make it less comfortable again. Okay, let's go for a ride on the Speed Twin RS. You have to put a physical key in it to turn it on. Clutch in, and it thumps into life with a very smooth but very bassy idle. As you blip it, it vibrates through the seat in a rather tasteful manner. Yeah, pegs are pretty low, pretty mid. It's not a racy riding position at all, despite being a sporty one. And it's just got very light clutch. You can easily get into third gear at 20 miles an hour and it will still accelerate nice and hard. You can even do fourth or fifth at 30 miles an hour and it will still pull. And this engine's character is just really addictive. It is smooth, but it has got a nice little offbeat thrum to it, and the quickshifter blipper is, well, I say it's a mixed bag. At low revs it's not much cop. It's having to stop a big old crank very briefly to change gears, and you do get quite a big delay. It works much better higher up in the revs, like a sports bike, I guess. There you go, between first and second it's alright then. It's much smoother on the way down the gearbox. Now we'll get onto a proper twisty road in a bit and talk about handling then, but to live with, this bike is just, oh, it's brilliant. It's just a really addictive bike to ride because it's just easy going, but also you'll find yourself accelerating unnecessarily in third gear. You'll find yourself being several gears higher than you expect because it's got so much drive. Now, as I said, there are 3 riding modes on the RS. There's rain, road and sport. You don't get sport on the non-RS, and you change them using a really hidden mode button down there. That's what you use to change them, which is just normal Triumph stuff, to be honest. Compliance is pretty good. It does have a slight firm edge, and I have actually firmed up the rear shocks because when I first rode this, go watch my first ride video if you want to see it being ridden a bit more in anger. It was getting a bit wallowy in corners, often on the throttle. It was just reacting quite extreme, in quite an extreme way, should I say, to adjusting the throttle mid-corner, and it got a bit out of shape when I was going faster, so I firmed it up, and that has massively improved things. But yeah, I'm going to get some faster, twistier roads, and then we'll ask the question, can you really have fun on an old retro naked bike? Yes you can. Yes you can. You don't need a bridge to do it. Okay, a few little practical points. Fuel economy is very good. You get 50 mpg no matter how you ride this. The mirrors are sort of okay. They do get a little bit vibey at times. And when you're doing motorway speeds like this, it's naked bike, so you've got naked bike levels of wind blast, but because there's no screen, there's no buffeting. It's just clean air hitting you in the face, and then you think, oh, I wish I had cruise control. But you know, it'll be a good commuter. Obviously no weather protection whatsoever, and you might not want to get it wet if you want it to look shiny like this, but I'm sure it can absolutely take it. The brakes on the Speed Twin RS Brembo Stylimas, they are incredibly powerful, but apparently the standard bike has a little bit more bite, but I've not ridden it, so I couldn't possibly comment. But this is where you start to feel the chassis kind of retro underpinnings over those bumpy bits mid-corner. The suspension's trying to control the bike's mass, and it doesn't fully succeed. There's a bit of this going on, a bit of weave and shimmy through the chassis, but it's all controlled well enough that it doesn't feel dangerous. I would say that's handling character if I was in the marketing department at Triumph. For me,
round there, an R12 NineT would have felt more planted than this, from memory, because it's just got a lower centre of mass. But yes, there is a limit to this bike's handling in terms of the confidence it gives you. Initial turn-in is fine, but then there's a point where you've got it leant over a bit more, and it's got that slight feeling of dropping off a cliff edge. It's not so bad today, but it was the other day giving me not the greatest confidence to attack bends. But yeah, we'll get to a slightly faster road and open it up in a second. I keep saying that, don't I? Bear with me, please. Don't stop watching. The livelihood of my children and millions of others around the world depend on it. Little roadies running around. I hope that's not true. Now, I think I must be getting old as we get to the twisty road of joy, because I'm really loving this engine on the road. It's all about the low down shove, a bit of mid-range. There's not much real point revving this engine out. It's just a lovely thing to be in a high gear, to pull hard, up to speed, and just kind of really enjoy the noise and the feel of it. But just for completeness sake, let's put it in first gear. Traction control. That was first through second, and yes, I think something appeared on the screen then. It is very fast, this bike. As I said, kind of on a national speed limit road, you just want it in fifth or fourth, and just enjoy that sensation of being pulled in a slightly kind of Thor-like way from low in the revs. But that would be to miss the point of the Speed Twin, because this bike really is the handlingest of the Triumph retros, if you will excuse the word. Obviously it shares its basic platform with the rest of the Bonneville range, but that suspension and the geometry means it's the one that gives you the most confidence to really press on down a twisty road, and it just fires you out of corners like with real guts. It's such a strong engine, and the beauty is you get to the other end and you're on the anchors, you get some dive from those forks, that's reassuring. You're using the blipper to go down, you tip it in, elbows out, and it's like you're on a street triple. It is that kind of naked bike fun riding experience, just with a retro flavour to it. It is such a fun bike to ride on a twisty road. I really do enjoy it. You feel like a bit of a rascal, aka retro knobhead, riding it like that, but the bike kind of wants to do it, and it's yeah, it's interesting. It's got street triple power ish, but with 40 newton meters more torque. And now it's got the electronics like your lean sensitive ABS and traction control, and the light does flash up quite a lot for traction control. It's one of those, it's quite an intrusive system to be honest, but you can turn it off, and if you're in sport mode, find some crests, gas it hard in second gear, and you'll be doing wheelies. So it's a lovable rogue, I guess. That's probably what Triumph wants me to say, to be honest. It's a retro bruiser with some proper handling chops up to a point. It still can get a little bit wayward feeling, but it's just a really fun road bike, and you kind of enjoy the quirks and the fact it's got an Alcantara seat to stop you sliding back when you accelerate, and you do need it. So anyway, that is what I think of the Triumph 2025 Speed Twin RS in terms of riding. I've not done any motorway miles on it, but it's going to be fine. It's just going to get a bit wet and cold if it rains. Yeah, it's a really nicely finished, put together, engineered motorcycle. But that sounds like a conclusion, and you know I don't do conclusions while I'm riding most of the time, so let's head back to me for a proper conclusion, standing next to the bike, sharing all my secrets with you.
Right, I've already sat down, so I can't do that usual outro, so I'm going to walk slowly towards you and get bigger. But anyway, to sum up, the Speed Twin RS is still an absolutely brilliant sporty retro bike that is an absolute weapon on a B road up to a point. It is really more about putting you in the right frame of mind and a slightly retro kind of cutting about, nipping between traffic, doing wheelies off crest and being a bit of a hooligan sort of thing, than an out and out track bike. Obviously it would do okay on a track day, but you'd very quickly run out of ground clearance, and the suspension until you set it up can still be a bit pogo-y. But on a B road, this is mega fun. You can have so much fun under 60 miles an hour with this, with it kind of weaving underneath you, but in a more controlled manner that you would get on the rest of the Bonneville range. So I really, really like it. It's just £15,000 is very, very spicy now, isn't it? But hey, everything is spicier than a very hot Nando's these days in terms of cost. It just looks flipping amazing. I wish they'd stick the old twin clocks back on it, to be honest, but I think to get the lean sensitive everything, you've got to have that digital dashboard. It's part of the bike's core electronic networking stuff, and I can't even be asked to use more of those words in this review because it's just a great bike. It's just very expensive. Anyway, would I have it over a BMW R12 9T? It's a tough one. It really comes down to whether you prefer a boxer twin or a slightly more characterful parallel twin in this. Yeah, I fit this a little bit better, so I'll probably have this, and it's orange. Anyway, thank you for watching this absolute mess of waffle. Hit like if you've liked it. Subscribe to my motorbike channel because I've got loads more bike reviews coming along, as well as a Christmas special where I go and explore the First World War and Second World War battlefields near the Somme, off-road on my Tenere, and it gets very, very muddy and quite fun. And I'll see you next time. Juicy juice. Sorry, so I say tally ho, pip pip, what ho. Or whatever that is in Thai.